Last time, we saw the beginnings of a brand new arc, one involving Cumber of all people. With this being a completely original arc exclusive to this story, what's going to happen from here on out? We'll be covering all that and more in this part 8 of What If Raditz Took Gohan. After witnessing the awesome power of Goku and Gohan, the three Saiyans realize they need to learn this godly power too. Imagine if they had it in their hands, what they could do. Against Cumber, they'd be unstoppable. They don't even realize the Super Saiyan God form relates directly to Cumber. As mentioned in the last part, Raditz didn't even realize what he was awakening, what he was really getting into. They asked Goku to show them how to get this power, but Goku doesn't even know if they'd have the heart to attain it. Like literally, they don't have the heart to attain it. They need to be righteous. And he's not saying this out of malice or anything, he's just being objective here. Although stranger things have happened, so maybe it is possible for all he knows. They never thought that Saiyans could grow this strong. They can't sense his power, but they could just tell by the pressure of him transforming and such. His strength is unfathomable. Same for Gohan too. But now they discuss why they came here in the first place, telling Goku of the threat that they found and why they wanted to warn him of it. And honestly, Goku and Gohan aren't too concerned. This guy sounds like an evil version of Goku if anything, a guy who just wants to grow stronger and continue fighting strong opponents. Of course, that's the only similarity between the two, but they're just joking around to make this more lighthearted. Goku respects that he just wants to fight stronger opponents. But Raditz tells him he needs to take this seriously. This guy is someone that they can't mess with. Well, Goku's not just being cocky here. Yeah, he knows this is no joking matter. But they've already kind of heard of this before. This probably relates to that thing that Beerus was telling them a while ago. A Super Saiyan God versus some sort of evil Saiyan. Maybe that was the relation here, especially since Cumber mentioned the Supreme Kai to the Saiyans. There's more connections here that they're not picking up on. But Gohan does have one question for them. They're being deadly serious about this, but from what it sounds like, they were the ones to actually free the Saiyan. Why did they do that in the first place? And Raditz honestly doesn't know. He admits it was stupid, but they were trying anything that they could to defeat Frieza. They got desperate. That's why he took Gohan in the first place. And this kinda does piss Gohan off a bit because he's realizing how pointless all that was. Him being taken by Raditz, that was basically a backup plan. Like, of course, the entire situation is terrible in the first place, but all these years later he's hearing that it was pretty much worthless. They did it for no reason, essentially. They didn't even know if it was gonna work, they just did it, out of desperation of all things. Well, it looks like they have no choice, especially if this is something that's fated because Beerus did mention it after all. He was fated to find the Super Saiyan God, so maybe it was fated that the evil Saiyan would rise up again and fight him. If you haven't noticed by now, I'm changing things that have happened in canon because I want to make this a more interesting story. Like, obviously, Cumber didn't show up in the main story, but him being the evil Saiyan related to the Super Saiyan God from so long ago, it feels fitting enough and I think it makes for an interesting arc. Although, it's not like they're going to seek out Cumber right now. Goku does thank them for warning him, but he assures them there's nothing to worry about. They've grown far stronger than they could ever imagine, and that blue form they were using, that's a level beyond the Super Saiyan God that they were told about. Not only are they Super Saiyan Gods, but they've far surpassed that. Apparently long ago, only a Super Saiyan God was needed to rise up against the evil Saiyan. So, a Super Saiyan Blue? That should be more than enough. Granted, they can't know for sure until they fight this guy, but hey, it's a pretty good guess. But nothing's gonna happen just yet with that. One thing that does happen soon after is the Universe 6 tournament. Once again, I don't really want to spend time covering arcs that aren't going to change too much, but I will note some things that have changed here. Of course, Goku and Gohan will be on the team, and the three other Saiyans actually do join. They're not going to be doing too much in terms of fighting, but they kind of want to watch Goku and Gohan fight, and this is a good way for them to display their powers. And they notice something really interesting. Goku and Gohan fight incredibly well. Gohan actually sweeps the entire tournament up till Hit, where Goku comes in and then is able to defeat Hit on his own. Goku doesn't have full access to Blue Kaioken just yet, but he is working on that. The reason he won here though is because he's more skillful, and Gohan lasted pretty long in the fight against Hit, so Goku got to study a lot of his moves. Gohan's actually the stronger of the two right now. Once Goku gets full access to Blue Kaioken, that might change, but for now, Gohan actually is above him. But Goku still does outclass him in terms of skill, obviously, which just proves to the Saiyans that they're in good hands. That low-class warrior and his son, they're both incredibly powerful and incredibly skilled. Even though Gohan might have less skill than Goku, he still has a ton of skill, consider all the different teachers that he's had. I guess use the term teacher loosely because that also does include Raditz, who I wouldn't really call a teacher, but he did learn some stuff from him. Point being, Gohan's had a lot of different people teaching him. And it's not just those two either. There are other powerful warriors on Earth like Piccolo, as well as Krillin and Ten who are below them, but still pretty strong by Earthling standards. And with the tournament going different, let's actually cover what happens in the future timeline too, because there is an effect there that we should note, and it will be important going forward. It's been a while since we saw future Gohan, and that's because everything's going pretty nice for him. His future's safe and he's been working to defend it further. With society being rebuilt, he actually did get to become a scholar, and he even met his wife Adele, basically by pure chance. Although he's still heavily different from the present Gohan, he focuses really heavily on training still. He's Earth's only defender, and if something bad happens again, he wants to be able to stop the threat before it even occurs. Which is great because at some point, Bobby and Deborah do show up, and thanks to the help of the Supreme Kais, Gohan's able to defeat them relatively easily, and that's just with Super Saiyan 2 alone. Gohan's even gone beyond that too, tapping into the power of Super Saiyan 3, although it's not something he uses too much. But thankfully with the Kais, he's doing some more training as well, which also led to him accidentally freeing Elder Kai from his sword. But of course that's not a bad thing at all, that's great. There's an extra Kai there, and unlike the normal story, Shin and Kibito in the future actually do survive. Future Gohan even gets the ultimate ritual done on him to get even more power. Surprisingly enough, he hasn't even seen Beerus yet. But thanks to Shin and Kibito being alive, Beerus still is alive here. And he's probably going to wake up from his nap soon. But there is another threat that Gohan has to worry about. All the elements are here for Goku Black to be made. But Goku Black's story is a bit different here. With Trunks' timeline in the main story, Goku Black was watching that get destroyed. Shin and Kibito were killed and Trunks was alone on Earth, and he wasn't nearly as powerful as Future Gohan is here. So Goku Black's actually waiting a bit, trying to get more used to his body and finding the perfect time to strike. They want to enact the Zero Mortals plan, but that means they have to kill the Kais. And they can't really do that here because most of the time that they're around, Gohan's with them, and they can't defeat Gohan as he is right now. But maybe if Goku Black got more power, they'd be able to defeat him easily. Or they just plan a surprise strike on the Kais, and once they kill them, they won't have to worry about anybody, because Beerus will be dead here, and then they can get the rest of the mortals in this universe. And one day, they have that opportunity. Gohan seems to have left the planet one day, with Goku Black and Zamasu watching over it closely, so they teleport in, getting ready to strike against the Supreme Kai of Universe 7. But just as soon as they attack, somebody else teleports in. It's Gohan. Wait, what? They thought he was on Earth. How'd he teleport here? What they didn't realize is, with him training with the Kais so much, he's picked up on some of their techniques too, which includes the Kai Kai. It's very useful for getting between planets. Gohan saves Shin and Kibito from their attack, but then he notices the two attackers that he's fighting. One is clearly a Supreme Kai, and then the other one, it's Goku. It's his father. Well, at least it looks like him. Gohan realizes right away that it isn't Goku. This is a bit of a mental barrier at first, because he doesn't want to fight this guy at his full power right away. He wants to figure out who this is and why he looks like Goku. But also the more logical side realizes that it's better to just stop this fight while it's happening. This guy's a threat and they need to get rid of him while he's here. They could find out the info later. He powers up into Ultimate and easily defeats Goku Black, also seemingly destroying Zamasu. He thinks he killed the Supreme Kai and let Goku Black live, but actually the opposite happened. Goku Black does succumb to his injuries and dies, while Zamasu regenerates and is actually fine, albeit blinded by rage now. But this is actually good. With him coming back, Gohan can get some more info out of him. Gohan utilizes his limited magic and tries to hold Zamasu in place with paralysis, while Shin, Kibito, and the Elder Kai try to look into his mind to figure out what's going on here, and they figure out everything. Also realizing that Zamasu is immortal, so that explains everything to them, which is good. But now they need to deal with Zamasu. Obviously that's not going to be too hard. They can't kill him, but they have multiple ways of sealing him away, which is exactly what they do. But this is concerning. If there's a Kai messing with timelines, who's to say this isn't happening in other timelines too? They need to warn the others, especially that present timeline that Gohan went back to so long ago. Thankfully things have went well in the future. So now we go back to the present timeline. The Goku Black arc is pretty much avoided because that all happened in the future timeline. The main concern in the present is Cumber, obviously. Beerus is eventually told of all this, and he gets a little bit afraid. That might be what he dreamt of, because he remembers seeing Shin in his dreams too. What kind of dreams was he having about Shin? No, not like that. But now that he remembers, yes, he's actually heard this story. And they need to go to the Supreme Kai right away. And after hearing all this too, Beerus almost erases Raditz right on the spot for being so stupid to free him, but Goku says not to do it. He has a good way to solve all this, and this will actually be better if anything. They sealed Cumber because he couldn't be defeated, right? Well, yeah, but Beerus could have defeated him. He was just asleep and Shin wanted to handle it his own way, and he just never got around to destroying the guy. Well, how about this? Goku says that they're going to defeat him, and that way no one will have to worry about it. Beerus won't even have to do any work, and Goku gets a good fight out of it, getting to test the limits of his godly power even further. Same for Gohan. This is a win-win for everybody. And yeah, this is right. And especially when Shin hears this, he's really concerned. He says they shouldn't do that at all. They should just have Beerus destroy him. They don't know how powerful that guy can grow. As is, they were lucky to seal him away so long ago. This time if they catch him, Beerus needs to Hakai him right on the spot. They can't let Goku or Gohan fight, regardless of how strong they are. Gohan also kind of agrees too. This is something normal Gohan might even say anyways, but especially with Gohan's different demeanor here, and all his past experiences plus what future Gohan has told him about his experiences, Gohan would rather just solve the issue before it becomes an issue. He kinda does like the prospect of testing his powers, but this seems too risky. Although, Beerus says he'll do it this way. He thinks this will be a lesson for the mortals. This is their mess, so they should clean it up. And if Goku and Gohan die, then they're not worthy of being his rivals. The Super Saiyan God is supposed to defeat the evil Saiyan anyway, so if they can't even accomplish that, are they even really the Super Saiyan God that he prophesized? Shin is strongly against this, but he doesn't really have a say here, he guesses. For the time being though, he's gonna stay with Beerus and Whis because in case he is attacked, Beerus is gonna be able to defend him. After all, if Shin dies, Beerus dies. But Shin and Kibito warn Goku. They don't realize how dangerous this is. He could be growing incredibly strong right now. They don't know what Cumber's limits are or how he's even able to grow stronger. Maybe his strength hasn't changed at all since he fought Vegeta's crew, but maybe it's grown drastically, and that's the more likely situation. But Goku's response is simple. They'll just do the same. Cumber's growing stronger, and they are too. They'll just continue growing stronger and surpass their limits. He and Gohan have already pushed themselves a ton, as far as they can actually. As for the other Saiyans, they might not be able to attain Super Saiyan God even through training, but they can grow in their own way. There's probably a level beyond Super Saiyan 2 that they could access, which is exactly what they were thinking of anyways. Although, where is Cumber and when is he gonna attack? Nobody has a clue. But that threat of him is looming in the background. Goku decides to try something pretty interesting. He tells Gohan he has an idea of how they could push their limits, as they go to the Room of Spirit and Time. If Cumber strikes years from now, they're going to be more than fine. But in case he strikes soon, this is a good way to train. They can get a year's worth of training in a day, and it's pretty intense training too. And while in the time chamber, they get some pretty good training down. Goku tries to tap more into Blue Kaioken, and as for Gohan, he's trying to follow what Whis was teaching them. Of course, Goku's following the same, but they actually might be on the cusp of something new here. Goku's a genius martial artist, and Gohan has a more logical mind. They put their minds together and figure out what they could do. There's something beyond Super Saiyan Blue that they could access. And these two, they're the perfect training partners for each other. Both incredibly powerful, one with huge potential, and one with amazing amounts of expertise. But Goku does wonder how strong this Cumber guy really is. He beat the others casually while not even transformed, but those three, they're not that powerful in the first place compared to these two. And with him being in base, he might have a transformation beyond that. He might have some sort of form of his own that's completely unique to him. Especially with how much Shin is worried, that can't be his limit. They have no clue what to imagine for this guy's power. Their training does go really well, but nothing happens with Cumber. He doesn't show up just yet. But about a year after the Universe 6 tournament, someone else does show up here. A very familiar face. It's future Gohan of all people. It took so long because he had to refuel the time machine, and they wanted to figure out more info about Zamasu before coming here. Plus, on top of that, Zamasu and Goku Black did attack later than normal. Granted, they could have used the time ring to come here, but he couldn't take them because the other Kais needed to watch over. Also using them to look through different timelines to see what's going on with Zamasu. So, unfortunately, Gohan didn't have access to that right now. Hence, using the time machine. So Gohan warns all of them of Zamasu, and it seems like nothing's happened with him yet. Zamasu in this timeline actually was considering doing that, but thankfully nothing's happened just yet. It's great to have all this info here because Beerus and Whis are just going to look into it on their own, and future Gohan's going to stay here until that's all solved. But while he's here, another issue does pop up, and it still involves the gods. Beerus and Whis are able to interrogate Zamasu, and then Gowasu keeps watch over him. But just as they're about to leave Universe 10, the Grand Priest appears out of nowhere to announce something, the Tournament of Power. Beerus and Whis rush back to their universe trying to tell everyone about it, because this could be a huge issue now. That Zamasu issue was dealt with, but Beerus is really on edge right now, especially with the things involving Cumber, and he takes his anger out on future Gohan. Yeah, the Zamasu thing was stopped, but that's all future Gohan's fault in the first place, at least in Beerus' eyes. He should have never time traveled, and he shouldn't have come back a second time either. But he does have one way for future Gohan to make it up to him. He tells him he's going to stay here and join the tournament with them. He does seem powerful after all, and I mean, there's two Gohans here. The other Gohan is strong, so this one should be as well, right? Well, this is all very sudden, but yeah, he'll join. And this actually does remind him. He hasn't seen the present Gohan. He wants to see how he's doing. Of course, he's going to be on the team as well. But future Gohan gets to see his present self again. And it's really weird this time around because now he's fully grown and the two look really similar. Like before he was looking at a kid version of himself, but here it's basically like staring into a mirror. Although he has different clothes and different hair, but still, close enough. Gohan thanks his future self for saving this timeline once again. If Zamasu attacked, they don't know what would have happened. Although they're dealing with something else on their own right now, and there's also the fact that now there's a Tournament of Power. But luckily, Gohan's not too worried. With Goku and Gohan's training here, the tournament shouldn't be too big of an issue. The team is as follows. It's going to have Goku, Gohan, and future Gohan obviously, as well as Piccolo, Krillin, and Tenshinhan. With Raditz, Vegeta, and Nappa on Earth 2, they're probably even going to join as well. They've been on Earth for a while and have found their own way to surpass Super Saiyan 2. And as for the 10th member, Goku actually recruits Goten. Goten is a little bit different here because he wants to get to Goku and Gohan's level. With how different their story has gone here, it's influenced Goten as well. He's trained way more than normal, especially because Gohan's helping him a lot. And yes, he lacks experience compared to the rest of the team, but he has more than enough power to make up for it. He even has Super Saiyan 2 on his own, which surprises the three other Saiyans. They didn't realize how much they missed on Earth. But with the team all set, now they head off to the Tournament of Power. Although, meanwhile, something else is happening. Of course, he's completely unaware of the tournament, but Cumber is still out in space, gathering more of his old power. After seeing Super Saiyan, he wants to get it for himself. And that's what he's been training for. Yeah, it was weak in comparison to his own strength, but if he had Super Saiyan for himself, imagine how much that would buff him. And after over a year of working towards it, he's able to get it, pushing his limits and going Super Saiyan, even trying to go beyond that too. This power is far beyond what he would have ever imagined, and he can keep amassing even more strength. His power is limitless. The more he gains, the better his chances are of getting what he wants. And Cumber's felt the power fluctuating on Earth. He knows that's where everybody is, but he's gonna wait a bit to go there. Besides, it's not that long of a journey for someone like him. Flying across galaxies, that's nothing. With the Tournament of Power beginning, and Cumber continuing to get more strength, this is where we'll leave off for now. What do you guys think about this part? What's gonna happen next time? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to see more parts of the series or any other videos like this one. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.